The Battle of the Golden Spurs was fought on July 11, 1302, near the town of Kortrijk in the county of Flanders, and it stands as one of the most important and symbolic battles of the Middle Ages because it overturned the traditional dominance of feudal cavalry and reshaped ideas about warfare, social power, and political identity. At the start of the 14th century, Flanders was one of the richest regions in Europe, thanks to its thriving textile industry and its central role in international trade, especially with England, which supplied the wool essential for Flemish cloth production. This economic strength gave the Flemish cities considerable independence and influence, but it also attracted the attention of the French crown. King Philip IV of France, determined to assert royal authority and reduce the autonomy of powerful regions, sought to bring Flanders firmly under his control by backing the local nobility and placing French officials in key positions, a policy that increasingly alienated the urban population and the guilds. The social tension between the pro-French aristocracy and the largely anti-French urban classes escalated into open conflict, fueled by heavy taxation, political repression, and the presence of French troops occupying Flemish cities. The situation reached a breaking point in May 1302 when the citizens of Bruges launched a sudden uprising known as the Bruges Matins, during which French soldiers and their supporters were hunted down and killed in the streets, an event that shocked Europe and provoked a swift military response from France. Confident in the superiority of his forces, Philip IV assembled a large and well-equipped army composed mainly of heavily armored knights, professional soldiers, and noble cavalry, believing that a decisive charge would easily crush the rebellious townsmen. In contrast, the Flemish army was largely composed of urban militias drawn from cities such as Bruges, Ghent, and Ypres, consisting of craftsmen, merchants, and guild members who lacked noble status and formal knightly training, but were highly motivated and fighting to defend their homes, privileges, and way of life. Despite their limited cavalry and lack of aristocratic leadership, the Flemings demonstrated careful planning and strategic intelligence by choosing a defensive position near Kortrijk on ground intersected by streams, ditches, and marshy fields, terrain that neutralized the shock power of cavalry charges. They organized themselves into dense infantry formations, armed with long spears, pikes, and the goedendag, a distinctive Flemish weapon combining a heavy wooden staff with a metal spike capable of piercing armor or unhorsing knights. When the French attack began, the cavalry advanced with confidence, but the uneven and muddy terrain quickly disrupted their formations, causing horses to stumble, slow down, and become trapped among the obstacles. As the charge lost momentum, the Flemish infantry held firm, using their weapons with discipline and coordination to repel the knights, striking at horses and riders alike, and preventing the French from reorganizing or retreating effectively. Many French knights, weighed down by heavy armor, were killed after being knocked to the ground, unable to rise or defend themselves in the chaos of close combat. The battle soon turned into a catastrophic defeat for the French, with hundreds of knights and nobles slain, including prominent members of the aristocracy, whose deaths shocked the feudal world and challenged long-held assumptions about the invincibility of mounted knights. After the victory, the Flemings collected the golden spurs worn by the fallen French knights, symbols of their noble status, and displayed them in the Church of Our Lady in Kortrijk, transforming the battlefield triumph into a powerful political and cultural statement. Although the war between France and Flanders continued in the years that followed, and political control shifted several times, the Battle of the Golden Spurs had lasting historical significance, as it demonstrated the effectiveness of disciplined infantry, foreshadowed the decline of feudal cavalry dominance, and became a foundational symbol of Flemish resistance, civic pride, and collective identity that resonated far beyond the immediate military outcome.